Hello guys, welcome to Ant Story Recap. Now let's start. 4 years after dinosaurs have been released on the central area, people have needed to acclimate to their presence. The Mosasaurus is seen pulling a fishing boat down in the wake of getting its enclosure of fish with its jaws. Many individuals have passed on from dino-related occurrences, and keeping in mind that many figure the dinosaurs ought to be completely killed off. Others have tracked down a way in the bootleg market to wrongfully sell and disperse caught dinosaurs. The public authority gives control to Biosyn Genetics, an organization drove by Lewis Dodgson with the guarantee to keep the dinosaurs held at a safe haven in Italy's Dolomite Mountains to additional exploration them for drug purposes. News inclusion likewise takes note of that Macy Lockwood has vanished after her real essence as a clone was made mindful. At an office in Nevada, Claire Deering and Zia Rodriguez carry a child dinosaur from a Biosyn lab. They join Franklin Webb as they get away from in a van. Yet safety officers pursue them until the three figure out how to lose them. Franklin and Zia tell Claire they can never again keep this kind of work up, and keeping in mind that they support Claire and her undertakings, they are moving on to occupations that are more secure for them, someplace close to the blanketed mountains in Nevada. Owen Grady is riding a pony to fight an enormous dinosaur. After he's finished, he returns to the lodge that he imparts to Claire and Macy, as he and Claire are currently her new parents, in spite of the fact that Macy likes to wander from home and witness the dinosaurs ashore. Claire and Owen attempt to keep her concealed for dread that somebody is after her. This makes her get irritated with them, and she has additionally become inquisitive about Charlotte Lockwood, whom she was cloned from. Sufficiently sure, hired fighters drove by Rain Delacourt are keeping an eye on them in the forest, Macy being their objective. Not a long way from the lodge, Blue the raptor has agamically duplicated a kid. They go hunting a hare together, and Blue aids Beta fend off another dino attempting to snatch their kill. In Texas, two kids are pursued by a huge multitude of grasshoppers. This is brought to the consideration of paleobotanist Ellie Sattler. She explores the ranch where the grasshoppers went after and gobbled up every one of the harvests. Ellie is let by the kids' mom know that the adjoining crops, which were immaculate by the insects, are planted by Biosyn. Ellie reunites with Dr. Alan Grant, who is working with other trying scientists. She carries a caught beetle to him and makes sense of the circumstance, expecting that assuming they spread, they might wreck the pecking order. Alan and Ellie figure that Biosyn probably made them so their harvests are that remaining parts. Ellie needs to get DNA from one more beetle at the Biosyn asylum and requests Alan's assistance. She was at that point welcomed by their close buddy, Dr. Ian Malcolm, notwithstanding showing some reluctance. Alan at last consents to join. Back at the lodge, Blue and Beta happen upon Owen, Claire, and Macy. They are undeniably shocked to see Blue having become a mother. The hired soldiers before long take their action and catch Beta. Macy rides her bicycle across the extension and is likewise taken by the bad guys. Owen sees this and gets Claire to pursue them. Claire says she realizes who can help them. Claire contacts Franklin, who presently works for the CIA. He assists them with getting data on Delacourt and guides them toward Owen's previous associated Jurassic World, Barry Sembine, who can assist with taking them to any place the hired fighters are taking Macy and Beta. Alan and Ellie show up at the safe haven and meet Ramsay Cole, Biosyn's head of communications. He acquaints them with Dodgson, who guarantees they are chipping away at something progressive and pivotal. Alan and Ellie are accompanied to find Ian giving a talk. A while later, he goes along with them and cautiously lets Ellie know that the beetles are to be sure essential for a vile plan by Biosyn. In the interim, Dodgson meets with Dr. Henry Wu, who has since become contrite of his activities in aiding make a big difference for these examinations, as he noticed that the grasshoppers have developed at a disturbing rate. In Malta, a partner of Dodgson's, Sonoya Santos, calls him to say that Macy and Beta have been moved independently to Biosyn HQ. Owen and Claire likewise show up and rejoin with Barry. He carries them to an underground market dinosaur ring, where dinosaurs are being sold, eaten, or compelled to battle. Claire meets Kayla Watts, a pilot who flies for the sellers. She cautions Claire about playing with anybody there, yet in the end consents to assist Claire with tracking down Macy. As this occurs, Owen and Barry stay stowed away and witness Delacourt meeting with Santos to carry Atrociraptors. The two go up against and battle Delacourt and his men. Owen orders him to say where Macy and Beta are, and he simply gives him Santos' name before he gets eaten by dinosaurs in the battling ring. Claire battles Santos and discovers that Macy is set out toward Biosyn, and she surpasses a free dinosaur prior to joining Kayla. Barry captures Santos, yet not before she sicks one of her dinosaurs on Owen. who is riding a cruiser to find Claire and Kayla. He figures out how to load onto Kayla's plane similarly as she is preparing to take off with Claire. And Owen utilizes the cruiser to knock the dino off the incline and into the sea. Macy shows up at HQ and meets Wu. He makes sense of for her that she isn't a clone of Charlotte's, yet her genuine girl who was imitated agamically very much like Beta. Macy watches video film of Charlotte and sees when she was pregnant with Macy, Charlotte experienced a sickness. Yet she figured out how to change Macy's DNA to eliminate all hints of the infection. Wu trusts that by concentrating on Macy's DNA, he can switch the insect episode by adjusting their DNA. Alan and Ellie slip into the control space for the grasshoppers to get a DNA test. Similarly, as Macy attempts to escape with Beta, Dodgson sounds the alert, which makes the beetles swarm around Alan and Ellie, yet they figure out how to get out securely. They meet Macy, who can say for sure what their identity is. She goes along with them as they run. They are found by Ramsay, who consents to help them since he views Biosin's work as unscrupulous. He sends them away in a monorail to somewhere safe. Ellie lets Macy know that she knew Charlotte as an understudy, and says she was a splendid and kind individual. In the air, Kayla's plane is gone after by Quetzalcoatlus, driving Claire to discharge and fall into the trees after they tear her parachute. Owen and Kayla collide with a close-by ice lake. They endeavor to securely advance across it yet are pursued by another dinosaur. The two make it across without a moment to spare and go to move Claire. She gets down from the tree yet needs to dodge a pyroraptor from following her in the timberland discreetly. Owen and Kayla stow away as the T-Rex shows up to eat. However, she is held off by a Giganotosaurus, a lot bigger hunter. They figure out how to get to Claire. Alan, Ellie, and Macy are clearing their path through sinkholes and find dinosaurs going after, inciting them to run until they make it outside. In the meantime, Ian verbally smacks Dodgson around for his activities, and Dodgson fires him. Ian works with Ramsay to return to Ian's companions. He assists them with getting away from the dinosaurs by liberating them from the walled-in area. Dodgson then burns down the insect lab to obliterate proof. The flaring beetles break free and start flying out from the dark. Alan, Ellie, Ian, and Macy endeavor to beat an enormous dinosaur in a van, however, are thumped down a slope. Fortunately, they land close to Owen, Claire, and Kayla, rejoining the previous two with Macy. Claire additionally will meet Ellie while Owen meets Alan. The gathering is then followed by the Giganotosaurus, who nearly gets Macy, however she gets away. Ian fights it off by tossing a consuming fabric into its mouth. While the legends work on a break plan, Biosin begins to catch fire, compelling the representatives to escape. Dodgson endeavors to grab his work, and Ramsay lets him know off one final time prior to leaving. Dodgson endeavors to move away in the monorail, however is cornered by a triplet of Dilophosaurus, who make a feast out of him. Beta happens upon the legends and is calmed so they can securely bring her along. They are likewise found by Wu, who has figured out how to modify the grasshopper's DNA to stop the spread. Similarly, as the gathering readies their leave, the Giganotosaurus returns, however is then gotten between the T-Rex and the Therizinosaurus. The people escape to stay away from the dino battle, and it closes when the T-Rex drives the Giganotosaurus into the Therizinosaurus hooks. After getting back to somewhere safe, Alan and Ellie revive their sentiment and later head to Washington, D.C. to affirm against Biosin. Wu's work is a triumph and stops the insect spread. Owen, Claire, and Macy get back and rejoin Beta with Blue, prior to withdrawing once more into the backwoods. Blue offers one final look with Owen. One last clasp of Charlotte plays over society adjusting and acclimating to dinosaurs on the central area, with her noticing that mankind will sometime or another figure out how to coincide with the dinosaurs.